Okay, folks. This is something that's relatively recent news to me. Thankfully, brought to it my attention by one of my friends. This is this is something on the Rivalry website, which looking at the one of the largest skins marketplaces may actually be shut down. They're so angry. Valve is literally killing CSGO and everyone. Imagine. I'm so confused what they're even fucking doing at this point. It's cracking down. Remember the guy. It's about the games, not the skins. I hope maybe we're getting a pretty big update soon, including the Panama stuff. Basically, yeah, there is my life's work has been complete. I don't know what this all means. Did Valve just kill OPskins? So this is coming from the Rivalry website, so I'm going to delve into it a bit further. Okay, so to look into it in a bit more detail, this is on Steam. Important. Valve have decided to shut OPskins down due to their new announcement function called Express Trade. In March, Valve announced a 7-day item cooldown. And basically, at first, don't sell your stuff. You got to keep your skins at inventories. Nothing will crash. Basically, there are reasons why you shouldn't be. OPskins is actually going to talk with Valve and maybe solve the problems. OPskins is only one site, so I guess there is some legal stuff going around. So I guess if I had my stuff with OPskins, I probably would delist it personally. But I guess the question is there's undoubtedly going to be some negotiation between Valve and OPskins. Okay, well, let's have a look at this next website. So basically, at last, 2 Valve has enforced our Steam subscriber agreement as described in this post. In March 2008, we applied for a 7-day trade cooldown to CSGO to trades to fight fraud and misuse of Steam accounts. On June 2006, OPskins launched Express Trade, which uses Valve intellectual property and violates our Steam subscriber agreement. So this is interesting. Basically, the OPskins have been confronted about using intellectual property, and basically, I don't know how much of this is true. Valve has 2 demands for OPskins: immediately cease all Valve intellectual property, including trademarks, gun models, images from the name CSGO in OPskins, Express Trade, or any promotions in OPskins for media. No later than cease use of gun models, images from the CSGO. Is using Steam accounts for commercial purposes in violation of the Steam subscriber agreement. Valve will disable OPskins Steam accounts associated with trade on Steam, by that you should resolve every obligation to OPskins users prior to that. If that is indeed true, I've never used OPskins, and I'm probably glad I'm not using OPskins at this point. But this is something that's really been coming for a long time, I guess. I mean, OPskins has been sort of flourishing in the background, and there's all sorts of, people have speculated that OPskins has been used for a way in which people can sell off goods that have been acquired in dubious ways. But a lot of people have used OPskins perfectly productively. So I guess the thing is, it is something that does limit free trade, but Valve at the end of the day do have intellectual property, and at the end of the day I would say that they're entitled to do it. So I guess the thing is, it doesn't matter how legit or otherwise OPskins is, Valve actually has intellectual property over this game, and the question is, will indeed this transpire in the OPskins being shut down? Then the other thing is, then is it going to be extrapolated onto other games and other websites, especially TF2 and other games like this. So it's something that sort of has, sort of creates uncertainty in the market, and as such, it might be something that in some way upsets the Steam economy. Okay, so we're going to look at the next. The next section is about the official statement in regards to Valve and OPskins and Steam, June the 9th. This is today, okay? Please be advised that Valve has notified us that it will disable OPskins Steam accounts associated with trade by June the 21st. OPskins covers to withdraw their Steam-based items from OPskins prior to this date to avoid trading restrictions. While Valve says the reason is express trade, we expect it is yet another effort from Valve to drive sales to the Steam community market. Express trade is a non-commercial use of Steam bots since it's free. It is designed to benefit the community, allowing free and instant trades amongst friends. We understand that Valve has an interest in driving sales to the Steam community market. However, customers have clearly shown their choice to use OPskins instead. SCM charges 15% commission. They charge 5 to 10. Not express trade, which is free. SCM is a maximum price of 2,000, thus limiting certain items for trading at their actual value, but OPskin has no cap price. SCM does not allow cash outs. OPskin has offered this since day one. OPskin has customer support with an average response of 5 minutes. This does not mean the end of OPskins. First and foremost, your money is safe in OPskins. Any wallet funds deposits will remain there. Cash outable balances we're not going anywhere. What's next for OPskins? OPskins has announced the integration of items on 19 block-based game and services, and since they're smart contract-based, these items can never be taken away from their item owners or held in trade restrictions. Okay. OPskins have also been talking with major video game companies over the last few months regarding their platform on the third-party market traders. For the past 3 years, OPskins has been the #1 marketplace for trading and buying sell skins. Okay, so there's all this. I mean, basically the idea that they perform customer support, and wow, this is powerful stuff. This is powerful stuff. This is like the clash of a really major mega firm with a smaller firm, and I guess at the end of the day, the Steam community market may have to provide a service where it can deal with an increased value. But then the question is, if it can deal with an increased value, will it become somewhere where scamming and so on can occur? But I mean, the answer is they probably have better security. They probably have less ability to show for people to do chargebacks on PayPal. So from my point of view, I can't see that the security will become less if more of this was in the Steam community market. What I do see is that there are certain items that are rarer and they command a larger price. So in actual fact, it may interfere with the free market economy and open up people to potentially having to trade with other people on high risky PayPal for items in the back room type trades, which is certainly something that is not really supported well by Valve and certainly not backed up by Valve. So it really makes it interesting what's going to happen to the economy, and certainly OPskins is a huge part of the TF2 and CSGO trade economy, and if it is affected, it will obviously dramatically affect the supply and demand modulus. Just looking at some of the things on Steam community, it's interesting that this page here, will OPskins shut down? This is in 2016. OPskins isn't gambling. OPskins isn't gambling. It shouldn't. However, it's up to Valve themselves. Yeah, but Valve said they'll take all the third-party sites that use a Steam login. It still uses bots, so yes, it will be compromised. This is in 2016. Basically, TF2 is a scrap website that uses bots, and it hasn't been shut down yet. I guess the question is, this is in 2016 when people were talking about whether or not the OPskins would be shut down. But it's interesting that a full almost 2 years later that it seems to have been coming into fruition. Okay, no part of looking at gossip on the internet is complete without looking at Reddit. Welcome to Reddit. So basically, first of all, it talks about other about the OPskins. OPskins is shutting down, increased the amount of people getting scams. Okay, this is a statement. The answer is there are many alternatives. Basically, there are other BitSkins and other platforms for trading. There's a community market itself and scamming with not scamming and trading with friends. So obviously, there's still going to be trade if OPskin goes. I guess the question is with Valve, the question is why they've actually sort of targeted this site particularly in regards to others. I'm sort of trying to speculate why this might be. And at the end of the day, what I have is completely speculation. But you can obviously see here that the gossip, not the gossip, the talk is starting to evolve on many gaming forums, and will continue to evolve, and we'll watch it. Now, somebody who likes to try and understand why things have happened, this is another Reddit page. Looking at the fact that Valve has actually cracked down on sites on the gambling sites in the past, and how this applies to OPskins. I guess basically there was a OPskins. There was a trade call-off period of 7 days that's been introduced for trade items. Now the problem is, from what I can gather, that there's some piece of software that's using intellectual property, allegedly, I'm not saying I know this, by OPskins that bypasses the 7-day waiting period, and this seems to have been, from what I can gather, the root of what is going on. But I mean, it has resulted in Valve actually saying to OPskins, "Hey, we don't want you to use any of our intellectual property." I guess there's also this question about whether unregulated gambling this express the nature. So it seems that Valve knew and was fine with OPskins before they added this express trading. So the other thing too is the Valve have said that they're against the terms of services. Well, in actual fact, basically, technically they've always been against the terms and services. So I guess the other speculation is whether they were just waiting for the right time to strike. In any case, they do have intellectual property over these games, so I mean, they are entitled to launch legal challenges against anyone that uses their intellectual content. I guess why? I mean, there's some speculation. Is Valve acting now because of express trade and it's used in gambling sites? I don't know, because I don't use express trade, but clearly this express trade option seems to have been the catalyst which seems to have excited Valve into some sort of action. I guess Valve, obviously there might be some sort of obligation under gambling codes, and I'm not a legal expert on that the Valve may have to pursue them, so this is an interesting speculation here. They could have done it at any time, and I guess oh my god, I guess hats in TF2 define our game. CSGO seems to be the game that seems to have excited Valve into action. I guess gambling is not as big a problem as TF2. Spy cramming does happen, and that's normally peer-to-peer in game, and it's relatively small scale. I guess the question is, gambling sites showing up in TF2, that's something that the TF2 community, I don't want in the TF2 community. It has been really popular with CSGO, and they've been on a bigger level. Certainly something that I do not want in the TF2 community. Okay, so this is a really interesting Reddit stream, and basically people saying TF2 is dead completely. TF2 is past its prime blood. Well, okay, yeah, fair enough. TF2 doesn't have the large number of gambling. Well, that's good. We still have an audience and we still have a community. So I guess the question is, the TF2 economy is not really as driven as the CSGO economy by things like OPskins. In the past, the good thing about CSGO for people was that they could cash out of it via OPskins. Okay, I mean, these are all speculations, but from what I can gather, that you've had a situation where there's been a tolerance by Valve of third-party trading sites for some time. Okay, now you've got a situation where this express trade feature goes against what Valve wants, and basically, you know, I don't know if that's to do with gambling websites or what's happening there, but at the end of the day, it seems that this express trade item has in some way potentially facilitated gambling, although I can't say that for sure. I'm just speculating. And from thereafter, we've got a situation where Valve have said, hey, wait a second, we've got intellectual property over this, just get out. Now, if OPskins had not done this express trade thing, I'm reasonably sure that everything will just be sort of cruising along as present. So I think this is, from what I can gather, from looking at Valve communications, from the talk of the town, this seems to be the catalyst, or the straw that broke the camel's back. We're going to have to watch the developments over the next week between now and the shut-off date in the 31st of June, and hopefully there's some sort of resolution, or at least we can work out what is actually really going to happen with OPskins, and whether OPskins is going to cease to be a force in the TF2 trading and the CSGO trading, and whether it will move on to different games and different game developers. Just something interesting to watch. Peace out.